Right. Everybody shared.
Oh,
Okay,
I
it's good.
don't see it. Did y'all share?
All right, we're gonna go ahead and start with you, Ebony.
Hey y'all, it's Ebony, also known as the accounting mom. I have been in accounting for the past 2 years. I own my own business called Legacy Accounting, where we specialize in helping small business owners preserve their legacy one figure at a time.
And I am Crystal Blackwell, and I am the founder and creator and visionary of Crystal Clear Conversations, which is an open conversation forum compiled of a diverse group of women where we converse, we complement, and we create lasting relationships and provide resources to one another, have a good time, love on one another in a safe space to be very transparent and very open.
Thank you, Crystal.
Hello, everyone. I am Shanoa McCoy. I have a not for profit organization called It Takes a Village Las Vegas, which I started about 2 years ago after an untimely death of a young man at my school. So I just started the organization to build a community around the school in hopes that it'll spread to other schools. I'm an educator of 15 years and I just started my tutoring business, which is called One Step Ahead Tutoring.
Thank you, Shanoa.
Hi, everybody. My name is Benique. I'm the owner of Look at Me Lashes. What we do is specialize in an assortment of different lashes from 3D to 5D mink, as well as vegan lashes such as fox mink lashes. And we just want to make sure everybody is looking beautiful, blinking pretty in our product. I've been in business now for a year, a few months, and yeah.
Thank you, Brittany. Ms. Brown?
I am Tanika Brown. I'm sorry. I own LH Business Services. What all I do is I file all corporations, LLCs, nonprofits, business licensing, sole proprietors. I also offer business funding. I also offer personal and business credit restoration. And I basically help people get their documents in order to do business right.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Miss LaShonda, can you hear us? Okay, I don't think she can hear us. We're going to go ahead and move to the first topic, which is
Hi, everybody. LaShonda Pollard. I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Got-
All right, we're going to go ahead and move to the first question, which is how did you guys get started? So we'll start with you, Ebony.
So I got started, it's a long story, but let me sum it up for y'all. I grew up in a household where we didn't have much. So that's where my passion lies for figuring out how to make the most out of my dollar while living my best life. So I figured why not major in accounting? So that's when my passion came about. So I love numbers.
Okay. All right, Ms. Brown, how did you get started?
I got started after working almost 18 years at the Nevada Secretary of State's office.
Mhm.
I made a transition after running that department for about 15 years in the corporate division. But I got mentally drained and corporate drained and government drained. So I launched and started my own company with everything I had learned there and made it bigger and better. So I wanted to offer full service all the way around and not nickel and dime and overprice people for what we can do to help our communities grow better, to financially get stable, to get things together, to do business right and keep growing. So my heart changed. I didn't no longer want to be government. I wanted to do it right.
Thank you. Shanoa?
I talked about it a little bit, but with my not-for-profit, It Takes a Village, I started 2 years ago, and I just got some community people together, people that supported me in my vision, and we just started that at Canyon Springs. And with my tutoring business, I just started it, but I envisioned it about 2 or 3 years ago, and I always wanted to do a smaller summer school, my own summer school, because I seen how students were missing out and getting swept under the rug, and the teachers were just passing them. So I was just passionate about making sure that they have the skills to go to the next level. So and then COVID-19 came, and it was a perfect time, I felt, for me to launch out in my tutoring business. So this is a perfect time to take those children and have a intimate setting and make sure that they have the skills. So here I am.
Yeah. Thank you, Shanoa. Benique, how did you get started?
So when I graduated high school, I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. But instead of like starting my own business, I went multi-level marketing, and I learned a lot about how you can be an entrepreneur. You can make money as long as you work hard for it. But what really got me started last year and just gave me that push was I was working for AT&T as a manager for corporate for like 3 years. And I was just tired of working for them. I was tired of working for them. I was feeling like I was losing myself. I was in a role where it wasn't like my personality or what I actually like, because I really like beauty, fashion, and all that type of stuff. And I felt like I was kind of getting stuck. So one day I was in my office and I was jotting down everything that I like, what I like to do. And I always wore eyelashes, and I felt like that would be something easy for me to do, to me always buying it. And like everyone asked me like, oh, well, you buy eyelashes, you should start. And I feel like last year was like a boom in entrepreneurship for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, okay, well, I don't really know how to start. I don't have anybody I can ask about starting a business. So I just went on YouTube and I Googled how to start an eyelash business while I was in my office, and I was jotting down stuff, getting vendors. I got my product. I was selling them to people at the job. And then actually, as I was selling out, like, well, I think this is something I can do. I can make my rent. I can pay my bills. Let me just go ahead and jump into it. So I just jumped off the ledge and took off running.
Yeah. Thank you. Miss Crystal, how did you get started?
Well, sort of like Benique, I had been working for the school district for 13 years. And I was an office manager, and I had just gotten tired of the monotony of the job in itself. And I realized that there were so many other women who were like me, who needed that place to really talk without feeling like they were being judged, to talk about those innermost personal things that they dealt with, that I would sit in my office and cry about, when my door was closed, or I would have parents come sit in my office and they would talk to me, and I'd never even met them before. And I realized that I had a gift to allow people to be themselves and to be open and to speak freely about what is bothering them. So I also just kind of took a leap, and I left my job, walked away from it, never looked back, and I birthed my baby, which is Crystal Clear Conversation. So,
Miss LaShonda, can you hear us? Okay. All right, so we're gonna thank you guys all for joining me today and lending your brands and your business to this discussion. I wanted to pull a bunch of positive young entrepreneurs together so that we could talk about the different things that we do. We can network together, and we could also give some information for some of those that are getting started. So there are a couple things that we're going to tackle and talk about on the live today, and we're just going to kind of just give our experiences with our businesses, and hopefully what we share could help someone else and help one another. So we go ahead. What if any mistakes did you make when you started out, Ebony?
I didn't properly plan. I had this great idea that I just kind of jumped into. I bought a website. I think I even invested in some type of marketing consultation. But how can somebody help me when I really don't understand or know what it is that I'm truly doing? So I think that while I know, if going forward I start anything else, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to make a business plan. And it doesn't have to be anything expensive. It could be one page, like just a brief synopsis of you, like telling what you want to do, who you want to reach, and how you're going to accomplish that. So you have something to aim towards. Because a lot of times you get in business and you just get going, and you have so many tabs open, you're jumping from one thing to the next, and before you know, you wasted all this time, you've got nothing accomplished. So have a plan and stick to your plan. Of course, you can maneuver and alter it, but have a plan.
Yeah, yeah. Crystal, what if any mistakes did you make when you started?
Well, I'll be anybody who knows me and who's been to Crystal Clear know that I'm very honest and open and transparent. And one of the things that I would say was definitely a mistake is I wanted everything to be right. So I kind of like would talk myself out of certain things, and I can be overly analytical. And so I would go about it and I would think that it was right or whatever the case, or I would have people who would reach out and, who would want to help and different things like that. And I just was a bit of a perfectionist, and I think that caused a bit of a breakdown. It was a bit of a mistake. You have to trust the process and understand that everything is not going to be right, but as long as you stay the course and you keep it authentic, it's going to do what it needs to do.
Absolutely. Shanoa?
I can attest with what Crystal said. I think one of the biggest mistakes that I made was not having a talk with myself before I started about staying the course and maybe getting disappointed, because I think when you go in business, you have like this mind, you have this picture about things that you want to happen, and you want all these people to come, and then when it doesn't happen, you can get disappointed and get discouraged and quit. So I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that I made, is not having that tough talk with myself to make sure that I stay my course no matter what. No matter what it looks like, it's gonna always turn out the way it's supposed to be. So I think that was one of the mistakes that I made at first.
Yeah. Monique?
I would say one of my mistakes that I made was in the beginning, I didn't go and get my business license and everything right in the beginning of my, because I wasn't too sure if this was something that I was going to continue to do. And now that I've been in business for a full year and a few months, it doesn't really regulate that due to the license. So like when I want to apply for loans and so on and so forth, I don't qualify due to not being in business on paper for that certain amount of time, even though, some things were saying like, you don't have to have a business license or LLC and stuff to start e-commerce and so on and so forth. Or once you decide to do it, go ahead and get those licensing. But if I would have known what I knew now, I would have just got my license. And if it didn't work, I would have just, lost out on that money at that time. But I recommend get your business license and stuff all in the beginning, so all your paperwork is correct.
Yeah, definitely. I want to go ahead and pose this question to Nika and let her answer.
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
The question is just, what if any mistakes did you make when you started?
The biggest mistake I think that I made is I went in with a lot of heart and a lot of money, and I thought everything was supposed to be this perfect picture. If I just paid my way through, then I could take myself from a 99-cent store to a full front end Nike business because I was putting in all the work and all the money. And that's not necessarily the case, because no matter how much money and heart you put into it, it still takes a form of discipline to make it. And you can't depend on other people to help you make it. So my mistake was trying to move too fast and spend too much, and then had to sit back and be like, okay, your bank account look like this. You done help other people get all this money, but nobody's thought about you when it hurts. So that was my hardest lesson. And it made me rebrand myself, and it taught me to take my time, build slowly, save slowly, and move slowly enough to know that you can do it the right way and you can make a lot of money, but it's a pace you're going to make the money at. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I know that's all really good stuff. And a lot of it I can identify with. I know for me, my experience first starting out was a lot like Benique's, in that I didn't do any of the legal legwork that you're supposed to do in the beginning. And I found myself with all of this stuff that I could do nothing with, because I didn't register my business. I didn't do any licensing. I had all of this amazing creative stuff going on, but I couldn't do anything with it. I didn't do the due diligence that was necessary to search to make sure what I was trying to do was not already the idea or the name of someone else's. So that's definitely a good idea. Make sure in the beginning you do what you need to do to set yourself up to be successful. And that's not, because we all have amazing ideas, but what's the point of having an amazing idea or amazing business concept and you don't have the support or the foundation needed to be successful? So that's good. Definitely good, ladies. I really appreciate that. So the next part I wanted us to get into is, how do you maintain your business? Anybody, it doesn't matter who answers this question.
I'll go first. So
Okay.
I maintain my business by just staying current with what's going on. Because being an accountant, there's laws that changes, there's regulations that change, there's systems, different systems. Like right now, I'm in the process of revamping how I do like my workflows. When I first began, I had different apps and all this other kind of stuff that helped me flow. So I didn't really have to be working as much. But now it's a different beast. So now I'm in the process of revamping and making sure I hear the different things that work well for my business. But yeah, so that's how I maintain, just staying up to date with how I can be more efficient.
Yeah. Shanoa?
I think I try my best to stay organized and keep everything online. It was important for me when I started my tutoring business that I operate in excellence. I didn't want to have to go back and forth with people. I wanted to make sure that everything was on my website. So scheduling. I also do a lot of research. I remember when I first started, I just made a playlist on YouTube to see what's out there, and then once I started doing my research, and I got a mentor and people to assist me. So I just like Ebony says, try to stay relevant with what's going on and try to stay as organized as I can and keep everything simple. Just keep everything simple on my website.
Yeah. Renique?
How I maintain my business is just like how they said, just making sure I stay relevant, making sure I stay up on the trends, making sure I know what lashes are out, what lashes are popping, what's new, what's hip, what's trendy, what's selling. But also make sure I stay consistent on social media, because that's the majority of my my money from social media, Instagram, Instagram mainly. I have like Facebook up too, but Facebook doesn't really do as well as my Instagram. So I try to make sure I just I stay consistent with posting, with marketing. I have a business mentor as well too that I can go to and ask questions, and that helps too to make sure that I'm on track. But mostly it's just staying up to date and then also just staying consistent.
Yeah. Crystal?
I go right along with what the other lady said. I know for me personally, maintaining the business for me is bigger than just the audience. Maintaining the business for me is studying what it is that I'm doing, studying the craft, watching others who have a certain platform that is similar to mine and still gleaning from what I see, but making it relevant for what it is that I have the vision for. So I'm not as good as Miss Benique with my social media presence. But I do try to make sure that I am relevant as far as giving some type of inspiration. Anybody who follows knows that I'm big on that. Give something that will encourage somebody to get through their day. Things like that. I really think in order to maintain, you really have to maintain yourself. The visionary has to maintain. They have to stay relevant. They have to stay sharp. And then they can give out what has been imparted into them as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know for me, there's I don't currently have a mentor, but I know in the beginning I had one. And one of the things that he would often tell me is to find people that are where you want to be and are a little bit a step above where you are. And that way, you continue not so much as to copy what they do, but it's almost like to continue to keep in perspective what it is that you want to do and where you want to be. So maintain, like, again, same thing that you ladies have all said. Make sure you stay current. Make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you're doing your research. It's so much information out there with how to do things, how to even what times to even post on social media, and even how to lay out your actual posts. So yeah, good stuff, lady. So let's move on to the next thing. What is the importance of a brand? Let's start with you, Benique.
I feel like the importance of a brand is what's going to allow the customer to trust you and want to actually buy from you. You are your brand. So in order to reach the type of audience that you want to be able to be relatable, and you want to build around yourself. Because people, everybody don't wear eyelashes, but they might buy it because the way I said it or how I look or the way I'm sitting. So it's all about you upkeeping yourself, being relatable, being authentic. Because with that, you can sell anything to anybody, regardless if they like it or not. They're going to buy it because they like you. And so it's really important to keep your brand and to create your brand and find who you are and just live.
Absolutely. Ebony?
I have to piggyback off of what she said as well. I believe that you are your brand. For me, there's so many in my industry. It's heavily saturated, but I believe that I have to make sure that I recognize what my strengths are and what I've been called to do, and make sure that I tailor that or factor that into my branding and my copy, like what I put in my captions and on my website. Because my language is going to capture or get the person's attention that I'm called to impact. So just being mindful of who I am and who I'm called to.
Mm-hmm. Shanoa?
The other two ladies, they Ebony and Benique, they answered it perfectly. I think your branding is very important because it's what separates you from the pack, what separates you from the bunch. Because you have a lot of people doing what you do, but your brand and how you brand yourself is what separates you. So that's just my 2 cents adding on to what they said.
Absolutely. Miss Crystal?
They summed it up perfectly. So I'll leave it there. You are your brand. So whatever it is that you are putting out to people, and to your audience, or your customer, or whatever it is, just make sure that your actions and who you are aligning with what it is that you are proposing to people. That's the biggest thing. So you can't, in my case, say you want women to celebrate one another and you want us to love one another, and we do all of that stuff, but on the other hand you see me and I'm doing the total opposite. No. So
Absolutely.
I agree with everything that they just said.
Hmm. So in the spirit of not being redundant, Miss Nika, how would you suggest someone go about building a brand?
First, I would suggest to be real with yourself.
Mhm.
Are you ready to be a brand? Because a brand comes with character, it comes with integrity, it comes with honesty, it comes with self-examination, because you have to evaluate, really, can I handle if somebody comes to me and they don't have it all together?
Mhm.
Or whatever my business does, it's not only a part of the business structure of what you're doing, but like with Benique, somebody might be hurt and just want to look better with eyelashes, but it becomes a whole experience in the brand.
Mhm.
So she brings that to a whole nother aspect, but she has to be prepared in her brand to take somebody on that might not always feel good about themselves. And like with
Absolutely.
Crystal, she's going to encourage people to a whole nother level from the stuff that she's been through, and that'll build the next brand because
Mhm.
she's ready to push somebody else. So you really have to be ready within yourself. And when you're in business, you will have setbacks in your brand, but it'll push you even further when you realize that next customer or that client, I could have did this better. I could have did that better.
Mhm.
I could have made this experience better for your brand to grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. Good. So within the brand and within building your brand, how important is having a following? Because we got our brand, we gotten started, we got our licensing, we got things registered. How important now is having a following, and is it important?
I feel like, oh, yeah, ready. Okay. I feel like with the following, like following doesn't amount to, the amount of money that you're making and so on and so forth. A lot of people nowadays, they're buying their following. So you don't know if it's real or if it's fake. You can have 100 people and still be paying all your bills and everything like that because those 100 people are actually really following you. They're really supporting, they're buying, they're talking to you, they're commenting, and so on and so forth. So I feel like, a following is good to new people because new people's eyes, they go to your page and that's what they look at. They do look at your following. They're like, oh, this person has 1,000 followers, or this person has 20,000 followers. The 20,000 followers in their mind seems as if they're a little bit more trustworthy, or people are shopping, and that's why people buy. That's why people will probably buy their followers. But in all reality, I only have like 3,500 followers, and I'll say probably like 1,000 of them actually participate and comment and so on and so forth. And I'm still able to maintain my business with that lower following. So I don't feel like you need a big following. It's just people that do come onto your page and look and might not want to buy or not want to shop or not want to support due to the low volume of followers. But in that case, that means you didn't need that person. There's still a million people out there in the world.
Yep.
Yes.
Ebony?
Okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say.
Oh, sorry.
For me, I think it's a little different. I have to go back to, making sure that you plan and you know who it is that you're targeting, because if your customer is not primarily online, if you're worried about your following, it's going to be irrelevant. So you're going to spend all this money on marketing online and making sure your content is good, but who's supposed to see your content, who you're supposed to reach is not really seeing it, so you're not really effective. So I believe that following is great depending on, who you're supposed to be reaching. And then also, it shouldn't only be on that. So maybe you have a great number of following, but maybe you're also hitting the ground and you're going to talk about your business to other businesses, because wholesaling is great. You know what I mean? There's other aspects to it. What if Instagram or Facebook crashes, like, and all your money and all your time is spent on just that one or those two platforms? I think it's good to diversify how you present your business and where you present it at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Crystal?
Okay, so I'm glad she kind of went before me, because what I was going to say goes hand in hand. For me, I think that there has been so much emphasis put on the followers that has become validation for a lot of people. And that's neither here nor there. Like, I think that the person, it goes into what we just talked about with the brand. They have to be secure in themselves and their brand, because then, as Ebony said, what if social media goes down? Well, you are the brand. So you can gain followers by you simply being in the grocery store. You can gain, your exposure by going to the car wash. So I think that the emphasis has to be it has to fall back a little bit on the followers, because you are that. So if nobody ever follows you on social media, if nobody ever takes the time to visit your page or anything, it doesn't matter, because you're already validated and secure in who you are and what it is that you're selling or whatever it is that you do. So I know when I started, I had only shared my vision with the closest people to me. And by that, I was so passionate about it. My passion, and how I presented it to them created a following, because then they told somebody, and then they told somebody. And so when I launched, I had people in the building that I had never even laid eyes on, but because I am that. And so I think that with both of the ladies said, that there are parts that goes into it, but I mean, you're going to gain the following as long as you're real and you're you. And as I said earlier, you stay the course, it's going to come. So.
Yeah, I agree with everyone. It's so many levels to it within the type of business that you're growing and you're building. For some, you definitely want to be multifaceted in how you build your business. I believe that with some of us, you have to make sure you do what is necessary to build your following. Where you have to do that. Whether it's how you interact with people, who tells about your business, and so on and so forth. So I agree with everybody. You gotta be. It kind of goes hand in hand with what we talked about earlier, in that making sure you are your brand. And being your brand and being consistent in those areas, I believe are necessary. Nika, did you answer that question? You get a chance to chime in on that.
I think that, no problem. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I just really think we have to understand that your following just doesn't stop on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So word of mouth is the best following you could ever have. I enjoy when somebody texts me or calls me and said, so-and-so recommended me, because that lets me know that last person that I served, that so-and-so recommended, I did my job. I served them well. And that's the best following you can have. Or when people consistently keep sharing who you are, talk to her, she'll help you out. She won't dogmatic you. She's not trying to get a whole bunch of money. Those things are important to me, because I want people to feel like you can do it. You can do it. I know it seems impossible sometimes, but if you just make 2 steps, I promise you can do it. And that's why I enjoy, being having that type of following.
Yeah, it definitely can be a positive and a negative, because if you build the following to the point to where you have a lot and then you have a negative experience, now all of those people, they now see that. But absolutely. Noah, did you get a chance to answer why a following is important, Or if you
I didn't, but I don't have anything to add because everybody didn't drop the mic on that one. I don't even have to add nothing in there. Y'all didn't drop the mic on that question. All right.
absolutely.
Go back
So
and listen to that.
the next question is your presence and your conduct on social media. So it kind of goes back to you being your brand. And I think for some, well, from what I observed with some entrepreneurs, it's almost like they believe that these two things don't coincide. I can say what I want and do what I want on social media, and then people will still support my business. I don't think they really understand how everything. I believe that in order for people to buy from you or even participate in what you're doing, they have to trust you. And if you don't deem yourself as being trustworthy or being someone of integrity or having a certain level of conduct in your business, I don't believe people will support you. I see people often putting on social media, I only support what I believe in. So what do you guys think is your presence and conduct on social media or even in public for that matter important to your business?
Absolutely. I want to tap in this right now. I have this frame of thought. Either you too holy or you too ratchet. There's no in between. So people don't understand that there is a median. Either you're going to get the people that are super holy or super ratchet. But what about the people in the middle? So your conduct matters so much. And I know this might sound funny, but some people only, like Victoria said, only want to deal with you based off what they believe. But I don't want to lose not one person if they're on purpose for business.
Mm-hmm.
That's why my conduct is right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I do both sides. Now I can help you be unratchet and I can bring you down a little bit so we can do business from the super holy sake. But people get that confused. There's a separation.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know that your presence is important and all people do matter in business, and you can help them be a business right person and change their conduct. But your conduct does matter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I'll touch on that a little bit. So with my business, I'm all about experience. So I always try to go above and beyond to make sure that whatever they come to me for, I don't ever want to under deliver. I always want to over deliver. So first impression is everything. So I have to make sure that whenever I meet someone, whether it be indirect or directly, I'm on point because I may not ever get that chance again. So I definitely believe that your presence, how you carry yourself on social media or any platform for that matter, is absolutely important.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and I know with me, I know if you guys follow me on social media, I've been posting a lot lately about packaging. So I have this thing about that. Like if I get something and it's like amazingly set up, I'm really excited about it. Like I know, so I know for like when I had ordered some lashes from Bonique, the box was just like I didn't even want to open it because the box was set up like so nice, And I was like, oh my god. So I remember sending her pictures like I don't want to open it, but she was, and I. So for me, I think that was her, like you said, Ebony, that was the first impression, And I think some people, especially with dealing with when you're offering a product that your packaging and all of that stuff should be absolutely amazing. You should be like, oh my goodness, when you see it. Shanoa, what do you think?
I think I can attest to what everybody else said. About your presence and your conduct is definitely important because you like she said you are your brand and you want to make sure that your customers or whoever you're servicing they're not gonna you want to build their trust, so it's important. It's very important how you conduct yourself.
Yeah. Crystal?
Yeah, like I said earlier, you have to embody what it is that you say you're doing. You have to live it, breathe it, sleep it, and eat it. Because even when you think people aren't watching you, they are.
Yeah.
And so that very moment, you could have done something 10,000 times and it's been right. But the one moment where, you slip and you say something that isn't right, or, she got on your nerve, or you side-eyed somebody one time, then that's what they're going to remember. Y'all laughing, but it's real.
No,
Because
Oh,
true.
that's
that's
true. That's
Listen,
Yeah.
all true.
Hey,
I'm
Now,
always having that
okay,
mental conversation.
that's
Like,
how
no,
people are.
I'm
And
only
so,
laughing
yes.
because it's
and I
um,
love to laugh.
yeah, I'm only laughing because Nika and I just had this conversation the other day, and it was like, well, let's just, and it's so funny because I used a term that a mentor of mine used with me, and he was just like, you should always staff your weaknesses. So in the moment that you're overwhelmed because you're doing a million things, like all of us are,
Yeah.
let me go ahead and add this virtual assistant in there so that she can assist this person with this, because that's the last thing you want, is to be in the midst of what you're feeling, because you are human. And someone will take that, and that will be it. I'm not doing business with them no more. I don't want to talk to her. And that's another thing. People will definitely sum you up. So it's almost like you have to always be, I guess, for lack of better words, you have to always be perfect within what it is that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think if people
Most
expect
definitely.
you to always be available,
Yeah.
they don't separate that you're a human too. So
That's true.
you might be having that one day where you're like, oh my gosh, I know I can do this, but I really can't do this. And you'll get somebody that you don't respond to their message within the time frame they have in their head. And then they're automatically upset when you don't know if that moment, my whole life was upside down. So people are sometimes so unfair to the person who they're doing an entrepreneur, but Walmart can close at 6 o'clock and you don't get mad. You just gonna go back when they open.
Right.
And I'm gonna be quiet.
True.
Facts.
That's definitely true. There are things that happen. So it's almost like you have to. I think it was Chenoa that said in the beginning, is having that conversation with yourself and being sure that this is something you wanted to do, because there's so many layers. There's so many things that I know I've experienced that I didn't even. You couldn't have told me that would happen, and I would have to figure out how to deal with that. But I think also another piece of it that's important is being in a space where you can respond to a concern, an issue with your business, or even more so with the level of integrity and maturity that people will understand and respect you for, and not respond out of emotion, because it is business,
Yeah,
So yeah.
Absolutely.
So the next point is what is the importance of being authentic in your business and in your brand?
I think that being authentic that's very important, because my mentor, she always says, in order to reach the heart, it has to come from the heart. So that kind of coincides with the question asked earlier about your conduct. Because I know me, I can only be me. I don't know how to be fake. I can only be me. So I think that it's important for you to be authentic again, because I honestly believe that there's certain people connected to you. So because I can be friends with, there's a lot of tutors, but I believe that there's certain people that I'm supposed to help, and they're only going to feel that with my authenticity. I think that the authenticity is what draws your market. So that's definitely important. That you are authentic.
Ebony?
And
I was just saying, I agree.
I'm
I
sorry.
agree. Oh, it's okay. I was just saying, I just definitely agree with what she's saying. And I really don't have anything to add to that, because I kind of touched on that earlier about, like you feel you're supposed to reach, and you can't do that if you're not being authentic. I definitely agree with what you said.
I think
I tell myself, oh, I'm sorry.
your authenticity. Oh, look at me. Go ahead.
No, go, Chris, go.
Go.
I think that lot to do with you as a whole, as a person. I know there's so many other, I don't like to call mine a women's empowerment, but women platforms. And they are based on a whole lot of other things that Crystal Clear Conversations will never dabble into, because that is not the origin of why I began it. That is not my sole purpose for doing that. Was for the woman to be well completely. It was for them to be able to heal from things that they didn't necessarily want to say, or they may not have wanted to go to a therapist, and I'm all for therapy, but they may not have wanted to go because there's that negative stigma that has been put on it, or any of that. I can't understand, and I mean no disrespect to anyone, I can't understand these women things that are supposed to empower somebody else, but the price tag on it is so high that woman who may really need it, she can't attend because she doesn't have the money to attend. So who are we really empowering? What was really the motive behind the event? You know what I mean? And so with Crystal Clear, that was one of the things, and one of the things that I will continue to stay authentic with is the purity and the sincerity of why I am actually doing it. I don't care if there's somebody doing it standing right next to me. The Crystal Clear Conversations experience is going to be authentic, and it's going to be different, and we can be standing shoulder to shoulder. And but again, that comes with not needing validation from a following, from anybody else. That comes from being secure in my purpose, being secure in the vision that was given to me. So you have to be authentic, but you got to be authentic and real with you first before you can give it out.
True.
Crystal, get out of my brain.
You don't know who you are. It's hard to be
So
authentic.
all I was gonna say is if you stay on your purpose, you'll be authentic. Many times we trying to figure out other people's purpose, but if you really know this is your purpose, it's easy to walk in what you're supposed to be doing. You won't be intimidated by nobody else. You won't be insecure. You'll know I'm on purpose.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That'll sum you up, and it'll hold you, and it'll keep you in. And when you're ready to give up, that purpose is going to push you.
Let me send her an offering. What's your cash?
Ebony had the finger.
Nick, I wanted to ask you.
All right, I'm going back. I'm going back quiet. I'm going.
No, but I was just going to add to what.
So, Nick, I wanted to ask you specifically because you're in a business where there a lot of people are selling lashes and doing things similar things to what you do. What do you think is important? How do you think it's important to be authentic within your brand and your business?
Yeah, I feel like it's important to be authentic because like we spoke about earlier, people are going to buy from you based off how they feel, what they believe in, and how you project yourself. And when you are relatable, a lot of people tend to be drawn a little bit more to you because they feel like they can do it or they can look like that too. So I try to make sure that I'm true to me, I'm true to myself, and being in a lash business where everybody is in that business, showing my personality, talking about it, marketing my product on myself allows me to touch more people and draw more sales that way. And I feel like that works for me. But we're not always going to be able to please everybody. We just have to understand too that everybody is not for us. There's a lot of people out there in the world, and it's okay if that one person doesn't buy or those 10 people don't buy. There's going to be 20 other people that's going to buy, and that just meant that those people weren't for us. It's okay. They can go to the beauty supply store, CVS, wherever they want to go. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. I don't mind.
I'm sending you
The
my
shade
offering.
of it.
There you go.
It's perfectly
There you
fine.
go.
I don't mind. I'm not for everybody, and that's that I had to say in the beginning when I first started, that I'm not for everybody. My price not for everybody. I didn't set this up for everybody. I set it up for my purpose that I was
weekend. And for those that want to shop, will shop. For those that don't want to shop, won't shop. But I'm gonna keep going. So it's
All right.
My price
That's
isn't
good.
for everybody.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good. I think that's something
That's
everybody
good, right?
has to
Y'all preach.
understand. They need to understand that they can't reach everybody. It's just not
Yeah.
possible.
Mhm.
Kind of greedy if you think about it.
Great. That's good, you guys. So, what closing out? This is our last point. If you could give a new entrepreneur or someone that's already in business but struggling, if you could give them any advice, what would you give them, Nika?
I would tell them first, value yourself,
Mhm.
value what's around you, value your circle. Find people that build you up. Even if they only spend $1 with you, if they say something to constantly push you, they're worth it, because you need people around you and you need a team to help you keep going. And you need resources. Don't throw away your resources. Build your community. I try to have everybody in my phone that I know I can use for something.
Mhm.
And I would prefer them to be Black.
There you go.
Hello.
There you go.
Noah?
I would say, to help anybody that's going, trying to go in business for themselves, is to make sure that, like I said earlier, to make sure you have that tough conversation with yourself, because there's going to be pain in your passion. There's going to be pain in your passion. So you need to make sure that never give up and just let your passion drive you. And I can attest with what Nika said. Make sure you have people that partner with your vision. Because on those days where you may seem a little low, they're gonna lift you up and remind you of why you started, and get that fire ignited again. So just keep going no matter what, and make sure you have a strong village around you.
Ebony?
I would say make sure your books are okay. And what I mean by that is basically making sure you know what's coming in and what's going out. I know with a lot of like startups or people who really don't know how to run a business, they're still learning it. They throw all that stuff in the envelope, okay, and then they pick it back up once it's time to file taxes. But you don't really know the health of your business. Just because your bank account says $500 or $100, that may not even be your money. Just maybe you spending, that's the money you need to put back into your business to buy products or whatever it takes to maintain your business. So a big part of maintaining or preserving your business is making sure that you understand the health of your business, what's really going on.
Beneath?
Well, I'll start off with just making sure, like, you guys get your legal documents and stuff in the beginning, so that in the long term you'll be in business for that certain amount of time and it'll be on paper, so ready to start, like, your business credit, get these loans, these small business loans that they're giving away. You'll qualify because you was in it for that due time. They asking for a year to 2 years, so so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Make sure you get your legal documents. And then also with those that are doing e-commerce or starting any business that offers a product or whatever you're offering, always know that the world is like your playground. So like when you go outside and you're talking to people, make sure you bring up your business, find a way to smooth it on in there and promote your, because every single person is an opportunity, and you don't want to bypass that opportunity, because you never know. Even those that don't look like they're gonna support you, normally those be the ones that are gonna support you, or they're gonna pass it off to someone else, and then that person will come in. So I would recommend that. And also when you're a business owner, it's not an overnight success. Okay, so just throw that away, get it out your head. It's not an overnight success. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So you got to just keep on running, even when the days like you're not making any money and it's been 3 days straight and no one has shopped or anything like that. Keep on going. Make sure you're more on that 4th day, so that you can continue to bring in that revenue and create that audience. Also, some stuff that I did too, like in the beginning of my business, and I continue to do it, is I try to make myself known in Los Angeles. Like, I'm not originally from here, I'm from California. So when I was working and so on and so forth, I didn't really do all that stuff. I just went to, like, for fun, I went to clubs and stuff. And then when I started my business, I realized that there were these networking events. So that's what I spend my time doing. Majority of the time is networking events. And I went so much that people just knew me as the eyelash lady. That's the lash lady. That's the lash lady. So just get yourself out there, you know, meet as many people. Your network determines your net worth. So as Nika was saying, she makes sure that everybody on her phone, she can call on and they can provide her something. And that's what you want to have as well too, because you never know who you might need to call on. And take a risk. Okay. Don't be scared. Don't be nervous. And life is not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be the right time. Just go ahead and start. Take those thoughts out of your head, put it on paper, and tackle each one at a time.
Yeah, that's good. All of that was amazing. Crystal?
I don't even want to talk after that. No.
Look, yeah.
I'm just playing. No, I would just say make sure that you are realistic. Be realistic with yourself, but never stop striving for greater. Never stop pushing yourself. Never stop, dreaming. Continue to evolve as a person. Continue to study. Study yourself, because we evolve and we grow on a day-to-day basis. And as we grow, our vision grows, our drive grows, our purpose grows, our passion grows. And so, constantly, finagle it, figure out what you do, like what works, what doesn't work, bring it back to the table, go over it. And when things don't work, don't beat yourself up, as we've all said, life happens. And when it happens hard. And so just remain you. Never lose yourself in trying to please anybody else, because when you do that, you've already lost. Stay the course of you. Keep yourself in a place where your mental stability is good, your emotions are good, and different things, because all of that is tied into your business. And so just whatever you do not lose you. Stay true to yourself and be realistic, and it all aligns. You may cry a lot of nights.
So I would sum it up with.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. But all of that is good. I'll just close it out by saying, just, definitely do with what all of you have said, do your homework. I think the biggest thing for me is that what has really helped me this time around is doing my homework, researching. I don't really sleep a lot at this point, mainly because of the new baby, but also because there's so many things that I need, that I'm researching and that are popping in my head all hours of the night that I need to work on and figure out for my business. And I agree. Having a business support system is so important. And it doesn't need, I'm a firm believer that if all of my friends or all of my, everybody in my circle, we all on the same page, that's not a good circle. You want to have people that can, pour into you, that can encourage you and kind of snap you out of it, because you will have those moments where you do want to just, throw in the towel. You do want to give up because it stretched you in a point to where you didn't even think you could go. But I think, again, just reiterating what you guys have said is being true to what it is, why it is that you started your business in the beginning. If you always remember that, I think that will really help you to be successful. But I have nothing else to say. You ladies have been amazing. You've helped me with so many different things, and I'm praying that you have done the same for those that are watching. Do you guys have anything else to add?
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you
You
for
guys
having
are
me.
doing the part. Thank you guys, all of you guys that are
Thank
watching.
you for
Thank you for
considering me worthy
commenting.
enough to be amongst great women.
What'd you say?
Oh, make sure you guys follow me at Look at Me
I said thank you for letting me be amongst
LLC.
such great women.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing. But Nikki done plugged her
Right.
like,
Let me,
yes.
what'd she say?
She
I have
said you guys go and follow her. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
make sure you
Yep,
guys
that's
follow
me.
me at Look at Me Lashes LLC. We're having a wonderful sale today. Well, this whole weekend, 30% off. We also have Bezel, so you can buy now and pay later. You don't have to worry about paying the whole thing up front. We have an assortment of different styles. So,
Okay.
friend.
All right.
All right.
Oh, let me
So
add too.
anybody
I'm
else want to
swinging
put their
that way.
business
Here I
information?
come.
Heather, you can
Look,
follow me on It Takes a Village Las Vegas and One Step Ahead Tutoring on Facebook and on Instagram. On The Village is having a huge class of 2020 conference coming up, so be on the lookout for that. I'm excited about that.
anybody else? Ebony, you guys want to plug the business?
I'm the attorney mom on every platform: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Be sure to follow me, especially on YouTube, because I'm going to be dropping content that helps you DIY. Because I know that's a big thing right now. So for all you DIYers, I'll be helping you out to make sure you get it right.
Good deal. Nika, how can we get in contact with you? Michelle.
You said my name, right?
Yes.
Okay. You're trying to crack jokes. I already know where you're going with that underline. Well, you can find me. You can message me on Facebook. She laughing now for a reason. And also, I'm Nika Brown on Facebook, Nika Brown on Instagram. I also have Seven Figures Loanservice.com as one of my resources as well. And if you just message me, you'll be able to get in contact with me. Victoria had got on me, and I'm gonna go ahead and let myself out because I asked for a 2-week break because my inbox and DMs, everything's blowing up with this SBA loan stuff with a whole bunch of questions. So I just want everybody to know, yes, I am willing to help. Yes, please. If you have your stuff in order, I'm willing to help. If you don't have your stuff in order, but you do need to be a legitimate business before I will help you do an SBA.
Miss Crystal, how can we reach you?
You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Crystal Clear Presents. If you need to reach me by phone, 702-381-1337. You can email me, crystalclearconversations@gmail.com, and I will respond. You can inbox me. I've had a lot of people inbox me and just kind of pour their hearts out. I will keep everything confidential, and just know that if you need me, you need to talk, you need a sister, I am here, and we'll encourage each other.
I appreciate you.
What's going on?
Hello. Did
I'm
everybody?
not sure, but thank you guys. I really appreciate you. Privately message. You guys have all the information you need.
Look,
This has been. Thank you guys so much. Take care.
bye.
Bye.
Yeah.